YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with my score predictions for the wild card round of the 2020 NFL playoffs. Going through each of the wild card games, giving you my score predictions. We'll take a look at the lines too, see how they match up to my scores there. Huge news here at the Goat House. Big news, important news. Two channels. This channel, the Goat House, and the Goat House Plus, our new second channel, the backup channel. Link in the description of every video and comments. Please subscribe to both. If you have not subscribed to any yet, please subscribe to both. Extra content on that second channel. And, YouTube with their new policies and, whatever it may be, it's good to have the backup channel in case, if something happens to one channel. So please subscribe to both. We're trying to get to 40K on both. Full NFL coverage all year long. Love me some playoffs, but I already can't wait for the NFL draft and free agency and all the head coaching madness. Also, I think it's a must that you follow our Twitter at GoatHouse NFL, constantly talking football, whether it's live games or the draft, and we keep you updated on the channel there in case something goes down. Patreon.com/thegoathouse. Link in the description for that extra content there. You can get access to Discord chat and plenty more. But the score predictions, 4 games. I'm giving you score predictions to all of it. If you want score predictions from the other boys of the Goat House, those are on the Patreon. So you kind of can get more perspectives on the games there. But the first one, I got the Bills beating the Texans. Even though they're underdogs by 3 points, I got them winning by 3 points. I think the defense wins the game here. Two teams that I have a hard time trusting, parts of their teams. The Texans, well, we'll start with the Bills. The Bills, I trust their defense fully. The offense, it's no surprise that maybe I don't trust them fully here. Inconsistent, but they have seemed to improve as the year went on. The Texans, more of an offensive team, but, there is times where they get slowed down in offense, and that's kind of what costs them, That's why I'm a little more confident in the Bills and that their defense slows the Texans' offense down just enough, and I think they'll be able to score. Yeah, J.J. Watt's coming back. They have some other injuries. Still waiting on if Will Fuller's going to play or not. He's a game-time decision. Doesn't really sound too great even if he does play. I think he's a big factor. So I think the Bills make that extra play and then get that, that extra turnover on defense. It's going to be interesting to see what the Bills' approach is offensively, because sometimes they kind of want to just, rely on their defense, but be a game manager. They want Josh Allen to be a game manager, just manage that game, win on defense. They could take that approach. They don't want to turn the ball over too many times here. You want to win the turnover battle. That goes without saying, really. And they have the opportunity to do that in this game, and they win by a field goal. Toss-up game, though. Toss-up game. Next game is the Titans and the Patriots. I have another upset here. I went with the Titans 27-21. If you've been with us, the Goat House, throughout the year, I play the matchup game. I play the matchup game when picking teams. Straight up score predictions doesn't matter. Did a pretty good job picking, and the matchup favors the Titans for sure. In this game, the only thing going for the Patriots is it's the Patriots, and they're at home on Saturday night. That's really. It's actually a decent reason to pick them, but just looking at the matchup, it's so hard for me to go against it. The Titans, they're going to get healthier on defense. This defense is full of playmakers. There's playmakers everywhere, and against a struggling Patriots offense, I think the Titans can make that extra play. I don't expect a bunch of turnovers in this game, but I expect that extra play. But what I'm looking at is mainly the offense. One of the harder offenses to game plan for in football because they're just getting going. There's not a whole bunch of film and experience against this team right now. When you have a dominant passer right now in Tannehill and a dominant runner, maybe the best runner in the second half of the season, and Derrick Henry, how do you game plan for that? You have to game plan for both, and there's nobody better at game plan than Belichick, but it's a tough task. I mean, your guys are going to have to show up. I believe you can run on the Patriots, especially in the freezing cold here. And I think Derrick Henry will actually open things up for Tannehill. And there's no signs are pointing me towards Tannehill kind of choking in the playoffs or not being ready for the moment. I just don't see it. It's possible, but there's nothing that shows me that. There's a couple other quarterbacks you kind of get that feeling from, or from experience, you definitely could expect that from. I guess there's no experience here, but I just don't see it. I think the Titans are just a bad matchup. They were even a bad matchup last year. That didn't really have anything to do with my pick, but the Titans beat the Super Bowl champions last year pretty badly. Maybe if Vrabel, has something against the Patriots there, his former team. I like the Titans. I like this team a lot in the second half of the season. It's a fantastic matchup for them. they win the game. They're underdogs by 5. I got them winning by 6 points here. I think the Patriots could struggle field goal wise in this game. I think they're going to kind of want to force the ball in the end zone, touchdown wise. And the Titans, I think, just got more. They just got more. Can the Patriots keep up? If the Patriots win, it's just playoff mode Patriots then. Playoff mode Tom Brady. Being in Foxborough Saturday night, that's what they got going for them. There's some people it's just so hard to pick against the Patriots, but matchup favors the Titans. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win though. Vikings and Saints, tough one to predict the score on. Very tough one. I like the Saints 30-24, so we see somewhat of a high-scoring game here, which is definitely something we expect, or I guess we're used to, I should say, for the Saints. It's a high-powered offense. They score all kinds of points every single week through the air, on the ground, whatever it may be. Look at the Vikings. The last 2 weeks, their defense has been dominant. It looks like the last few weeks, I should say, it looks like, the last 2 years, their defense from the Vikings there. But most of the year, they've been pure offense. What I've noticed is they can't have both at the same time, but they always have one side of the ball playing pretty well. I'm banking on maybe the defense kind of going back to the way they were playing for most of the year. Not bad, but, playing the Saints, somebody they haven't played yet this year. I think the Saints will be able to throw on them. If the Vikings did have a weakness, it would be outside corner play, even though Trey Wayne's been playing pretty solid this year. We got the Michael Thomas versus Xavier Rhodes battle. Thomas definitely has the edge on him. I think the Vikings offense actually gets going. People are starting to sleep on them, but you can't forget that most of the year the Vikings' success came because of their offense. You can't forget that Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattison have been out for several weeks now, and even when Cook was in the last few weeks, he wasn't healthy. Now he's got this break, and same goes for Thielen. They missed him for so long, even when their offense was doing good, and even when he came back, I don't know if he's 100%. We'll see if he's 100% in this game. So I think there's upside for the offense here. Defense has gotten real good. Eric Kendrick's playing a little beat up. That's their best defensive player this year. I think the defense could struggle a little bit, but really, if the Saints score 27, you could argue that's almost a win for your defense. Not a win, but it's a solid day for your defense. If they scored 24, that's almost a win against the Saints offense. For the Saints, I expect them to throw just fine. A big factor in this game is the Vikings defense has been helping them a lot because they've been getting crazy turnovers. They've been playmakers back there. The Saints really don't turn the ball over, so that is a huge factor and why I'm confident in the Saints winning here. You just can't rule out the Vikings playmakers because they have them and they're coming back, something we haven't seen in a few weeks. The next game, Seahawks and Eagles. I have the Seahawks winning by a touchdown, kind of back and forth here. I'm confident about the Seahawks, but I have only had a touchdown here in Philly. Great coaching staff, great game planners, mainly out of Doug Peterson. So that is kind of the edge for the Eagles, but both teams that are beat up. The Eagles a little more beat up. The Seahawks a little more recently. Impact injuries kind of occurred. So, you're losing Chris Carson's pretty tough. It could be a blessing in disguise against an Eagles team here because your main game was running. If you're the Seahawks, and if they would have went in this game fully healthy, they would have stuck to their game plan. It's the type of team they are. They would have stuck to it. Eagles are elite stopping the run. So that would not have been good. They need to let Russell Wilson throw because he can throw because he's elite. And you can throw on this Eagles secondary, beat up or not, I think. So I think Russell Wilson kind of makes those extra throws. I think the defense could get their hands on the ball once here and make a play as well. In Philly makes it interesting. But looking at these two teams, the way they sit, the Seahawks, to me, are the better team. They are the better team. There's a reason the Eagles kind of struggled this year. Injuries, and there's just other teams that are better out there. And they also, piled up injuries. And people are starting to get hyped on the Eagles. You should get hyped. They went on a streak. They went into the playoffs when people thought they wouldn't be able to. But look at the last 4 games. Giants twice, Redskins and the Cowboys. Not the Seahawks in there. Actually, before those 4 games, they lost to the Seahawks, which is more of a defensive battle. The Seahawks open it up, throwing the ball a little more in this one. So that was those are my wild card predictions. So it's weird, regular season going through how many of these, and now we're only going through 4 here. But the other guys are going to have their score predictions on the Patreon. Junior actually already has his. They're on the Patreon. Link in the description for that. So if you want to see more score predictions for the playoffs every single week and kind of compare all of ours, because sometimes we got different teams winning, or sometimes the same teams winning, but a way different score line. That's what those are for. So again, don't forget to subscribe to both channels. That is important here. Both channels and our Twitter. always keep you guys updated and constant NFL action all across all those platforms. So really appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. That's going to do it. Goodbye.